How do I create, market, and sell courses online? Okay, that's like the sigh, because it's such a huge project. And I think the biggest problem that a lot of people do when they start doing with online courses, like, oh, well, first off, let's get it clear that online courses is not a get rich quick scheme, because it just isn't, because there's so much work that goes into creating a course, a really good course actually. So first off, I think what's going to help you effectively sell your online course is have an audience to distribute it to.
Distribute.
Yeah, so either you can, make friend, like, get connections with influencers relevant in your space, that are obviously not rivaling you, or ride the attention. It's pretty much, if you don't have an email list, like, or an audience or a platform, like with 10,000 emails or 10,000 Instagram followers that are legit, like, if you don't have a platform, then selling your online course is going to be a pain in the ass, because you create something that you don't even know is gonna work, and you have no one to sell it to. There's no attention. So that's, I think, one of the important elements is like having an audience to sell it to. Who are you trying to get enroll into your course? From there, if you don't have one, try to ride the coattail of someone who does have an audience. And so, like I said, work with other influencers. I think you have to figure out where you can leverage or get attention if you don't have it. And the next thing is, talk to the people you're selling it to. It's one thing to assume that you know what the end user wants, to assume that you know their problems, but it's another thing to really understand it at such a deep level, where they literally tell you and say, you like, damn, you are reading my mind right now. And the way you do that is you talk to at least 30 to 50 people in your space who you think will benefit from this. Don't talk to other entrepreneur friends. Don't talk to your mom and dad or your brother or sister. Talk to people who you think are going to do well. You're trying to market it to. If it's, I don't know, dancers with a product. When I did product research for one of the apps that we've still been in development, I don't know.
Still in
I know.
process.
Well, for everyone who's asking about Sequence, still in process. And so, but what we did with that was we interviewed probably like nearly 200 dancers. We probably didn't have to do that much, but I wanted to make sure that we had the right we find the patterns and what the challenges they go through, how much they're willing to pay. There's just basic questions that help me get clarity, because when you're creating your course, you're not sure how much to sell, or how you want to, or what their problems are. When you create your course, you want to clearly define what problem you want to solve. You're not, because if you're thinking from a place of, this is going to make me money, you're going to lose. Like, one of the courses I created flopped because I came from that space. And then now I flipped it, and I'm reapproaching the course. It's doing better, but because it did crappy the first time, it's been a long climb back. But when you think of the person on the other side first, it's just gonna work 10 times better, because then it's about them. It's about helping them. So that's why you want to talk to the people that you're trying to sell to. And then from there, once you have like an audience that you want to sell to, a better understanding of who you're trying to sell to, then from there you create the course, and then make sure it's as best quality as you can afford. My first course, I was blessed with my friend who owned a studio at the time to let me use his stuff. But as he moved his production studio to another city that's a little way too far from me, gas wise, in terms of LA. He's not like in San Diego, but like, it's just like, it doesn't make sense for me to go through all the traffic. But through the years, I've used just my phone to film all my stuff, and that works just as fine. So do it as the best you can, as high quality as you can. And then once you create your course, obviously the technical stuff is like finding a place to host it. That's the stuff you can figure out along the way. And the next thing is upkeep. Make sure you keep your stuff up to date. Make sure you're following up with your students. Make sure there's a way to make everything super actionable, because most people who enroll in your courses aren't going to do anything, because Well, I think that's one of the reasons why I think iPhone is super successful, because it's very it walks you through everything. Everything's pretty much hand holding. And when it comes to change, when you want to make sure that your course is super actionable, literally like, you want to walk them step by step, hold their hand, because when it comes to change, when it comes to learning something new, to just say here's the course, like and say like kind of like let them go, it can be intimidating for a lot of people, especially if they're new to the content, like to the type of content you're sharing, because there's like complete beginners that like who don't know what they want yet, but a guide will help, or some experts who could probably do the whole you pick your own adventure kind of thing. So again, it goes back to talking to the people who you're trying to sell this to. Like ask them like, do you want step by step? The wording for the question would kind of have to be finessed, but that's you want to talk to the people to see how to best serve them. So yeah, that's it. That's pretty much how I think you can create a really good selling course.